The follow-up is simple. Ask a question, listen to the answer, then follow up. I'm your host, Noah Kozlov. Enjoy.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Follow-Up. I'm Eden, and this is my dad, Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a conversation about something I want to talk about. And this week, we're going to talk about Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Sunday, federal holiday, on Monday, Martin Luther King Day. How would you define his legacy?
Well, I would define it as, I'll start with some of his lessons that still live on today, that we still use, is like he did. He believed that blacks shouldn't be treated by having to do other things and make it harder for them to do things that are easier for whites.
Mm-hmm.
So
Equality. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think he believed that, so that's what he did. He tried to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what he can still do is, if you notice a difference that you want to change, is you should change it.
Right. So you should...
And you should change it up and stand for what you believe is right.
Exactly right. So if you see a case of injustice when it comes to inequality, that you should...
And anyway.
Right, exactly. You should say something.
Right.
That you should, if you're able to do something, you should say something. Exactly right. So what type of other lessons... Man, I don't know if you guys have talked about Martin Luther King in school.
No, we're gonna talk about it this week.
Okay, but you've read some books. What type of other lessons do you use day to day that may have come from Martin Luther King, or at least would be carrying on his legacy, maybe?
By standing up, being confident for what you know is right, and
Mm-hmm.
doing what you should do. Whatever I'm supposed to do, I should do it.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't do something else. Do what you need to do.
I understand.
He did. He knew he needed to change those Jim Crow laws, so he
Mm-hmm.
needed to do it, so he did it.
Exactly. So you can do that. Things like in the classroom,
Or standing up for other people.
Exactly. So standing up for other people, defending other people who might be, whether they're picked on for no apparent reason, and also just being a leader wherever you go, just by your actions. You don't always have to be the loudest voice in the room. You can lead by, and we've talked about this before, leading by example. Right.
Or lead by talking.
You can be a vocal leader. Yeah, absolutely. And something I thought was interesting, today we went to the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and we saw this a fashion exhibit. And as soon as you walked downstairs, there was a quote from Jesse Jackson from the 1984 Democratic Convention, and for the president of the Democratic Convention, and it was a quote about that our country itself isn't a blanket. It's not all this. It's not all the same color. It's not all the same texture. And
it's not just one piece.
Exactly. It's more like a quilt.
Right.
So
lots of different pieces, fabrics, textures,
sizes, colors, but it's all held together by one common thread, and that's equality.
Right.
Equality, democracy. And so
it's like one big candle, but each little part of wax is a different type of scent.
Oh, I understand. Yeah.
And everyone is all the different
everything's
countries,
unique.
and everyone's unique, and then they're all formed together in one candle.
Right, with that purpose of providing light or heat or something. Yeah, from one common thread. So I think that, even like what's happening today with
or like one multicolored bracelet that just keeps on going.
Right, like what's going on with voting rights now. How, I can't believe that we're still we're in this now in 2021. 60 years after Martin Luther King was killed, that we're in what he has been fighting for, and what his legacy is all about. yeah, it's really it is. It's hard to imagine.
Right.
It is. It's hard to fathom. And I was thinking about when. So he was born in
1929.
Okay, so born in 1929. So then, in the 30s and 40s during the war
in Alabama, Montgomery.
Montgomery, Alabama. Okay, so as
where there's segregation.
Right. So World War II is going on in Europe,
right?
And well, when we got involved as well, but the Holocaust is going on in Europe, and I was thinking about how there were polls at the time in the United States: should the U.S. get involved in World War II? And it was the majority of Americans said no, yeah.
Why was it everybody else's decision if they got involved?
What do you mean everybody else's?
Like all the other people. Why couldn't
countries?
it just be just like the regular American? Why can't it just be the government's decision?
Well, yes, no, right, exactly.
So we will enter.
No, it is the government's decision. It's not the people's decision. It's the government's decision.
So why did they need to put out polls?
Because they wanted to get the opinion of the government. Didn't put out this poll. This was taken by groups that do polling to get the opinion of people.
Because they were just so good to enter.
Yes. So.
But then, what was the purpose of the poll?
Just to get the temperature of the United States of the people. What did they really want to do?
Okay,
and what the reaction might be. So all these people in the United States, a large group of people in the United States were saying that we shouldn't get involved in the Holocaust because that's their problem. While there's segregation happening in the United States, while similar things are happening right there in the United States that are happening in Europe and in the United States, and there's so many people in the U.S. that said they didn't want to be involved.
Or just that one?
Well, in that one, but it also makes you think that those same people were probably thinking, well, there's nothing wrong that's going on here because this is the way we want them to be. And so it gives you a sense of that type of person that's out there, and it's it's sickening. Yeah. Do you guys ever talk about in school, aside from just Martin Luther King, like just talk about equality and treating each other with respect?
Well, we don't exactly talk about it like that way, but we have like a class charter, and we talk about like treating each other with their respect and using kind words and like
helping each other. Yeah. Do you ever feel like, in your class, you're a minority in your class, right?
What do you mean?
Like there's fewer white kids in your class than not, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And so you're in a minority, but in the world you're part of a majority. But in school you don't ever feel like, well, that kid doesn't look like me. That kid doesn't look like me. It's just like, there's all the kids.
Because I feel like I think of them kids in my class. Period.
Right.
That's all they are.
All right, well, I'm proud of you for even having not learned a ton about Martin Luther King in school, but reading some stuff on your own and understanding what legacy is. And there aren't many people in the history of the world that have left a greater legacy than him. All right, I love you.